Doctors, you trust them with your and your loved ones' lives. I'm T. Chappelle.
And I'm Lee Zurich, but our investigative team found some doctors are on the job addicted to drugs.
It's a serious threat to patients.
The often secretive discipline process leaves patients in the dark.
Plus, fighting junk fees.
It's just a way for these companies to profit.
From small towns to Capitol Hill, a targeted crackdown to save you money. Then,
what's up, Ben?
Inspiring the next generation to shred.
We created a community through doing the classes.
One man's mission to shape futures through skating.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching InvestigateTV+.
Few careers are as stressful as being a doctor. The long and unusual working hours, the demanding pace, and emotional trauma has some doctors turning to drugs and alcohol. According to the Mayo Clinic, about 1 in every 10 doctors will develop a substance use disorder during their career. Confidential state programs across the U.S. help them on the road to recovery. And when doctors relapse or put the public at risk, it's up to state medical boards to take action.
Investigative reporter Josie Sturman looked at doctor discipline nationwide and discovered a secretive, lenient system that allows physicians to keep their licenses even when they show up impaired at work.
Next case, Michael Heilig.
In November 2018, members of Kentucky's medical board took just 5 seconds to make what many consider a surprising decision.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion granted.
Fully reinstating the medical license of this man, orthopedic surgeon Michael Heilig.
Well, I was just shocked.
The news was stunning to Danny Davis, who told our Lexington station back then he learned through a flyer in the mail that the doctor he claims did 2 disastrous surgeries on his arm was back in business.
To be so quickly reinstated after some of the things he's done, it makes absolutely no sense.
Medical board documents say Heilig failed a hospital drug screen in May 2018 after a nurse raised concerns he was impaired in the operating room. But even though records show Heilig had been self-prescribing Ambien, was diagnosed with 2 substance use disorders, and signed a contract with a special state program designed to monitor doctors battling addiction, his license was not suspended or revoked.
It's the kind of situation our national investigative team has seen across the country. We've spent months digging into discipline and oversight for doctors dealing with addiction and alcohol abuse, discovering a secretive process that critics say protects doctor reputations while leaving patients in the dark. Time lags in informing medical boards and the public about doctors who have significant issues, and lacks delayed punishments for physicians who've put people at risk while battling their own demons.
It's a serious threat to patients.
A threat Dr. Sidney Wolf with the consumer advocacy group Public Citizen explained is often tackled first with confidential physician health programs, or PHPs, that give addicted doctors an avenue to get clean and sober while potentially avoiding discipline. But we've found their identities are generally kept secret when they're in a PHP, even when they're cleared to return to work.
Would you knowingly go to a doctor who you know had recently a problem with drug or alcohol abuse? Most people would say no.
But generally, people don't know about doctors in rehab or recovery unless there's an imminent risk to the public or until a doctor repeatedly breaks the rules laid out by their PHP. That's when state medical boards are typically informed, and they may hand down public disciplinary action.
Amongst the categories that I think are most outrageous and dangerous is the failure to act more promptly and more completely against those doctors with substance abuse disorders.
Our national investigative team looked at actions taken against impaired physicians or physicians in recovery across the country, discovering when it comes to PHPs informing medical boards about noncompliance, some doctors got multiple chances before boards were told they weren't following program rules. That includes an Indiana family medicine doctor who was enrolled in his state's PHP in 2018 following drug abuse treatment. Records show he failed 3 required drug tests in 2019 before the state board was ever informed, and his license was only suspended after he was charged with 2 DUIs in 2020. He later retired.
The boards have to be tough when people fail to manage their addictions.
Firm, fast action is what's warranted in these cases, according to Art Kaplan with NYU Medical School, one of the country's leading medical ethicists. But we found revocations are rare, and even extreme cases don't always have swift, strong consequences. In 2020, board documents show a Wisconsin doctor who reported drinking before work, driving intoxicated, and treating patients while in active withdrawals, went to rehab and enrolled in his state's PHP. Even though the records say he started drinking daily and dropped out of the program in 2021 and was later fired for on-the-job impairment in January of this year, he wasn't disciplined until June. And he got a suspension that was lifted just 2 months later.
I believe that we're leaning too hard right now in many states to protect the physician's interests first.
Back in Kentucky, one of Heilig's attorneys told us Dr. Heilig is a long-standing member of the medical profession whose priority is providing exceptional care and treatment to his patients. He is back on the board's radar. In late November, it labeled Heilig an imminent danger after records show he tested positive for fentanyl in June, and a state investigation in August found his practice was operating like a pill mill. He's not allowed to perform surgery or prescribe drugs, but Heilig can still practice medicine if he abstains from drugs and alcohol, as his license was restricted, not suspended. The reason and delay, yet another mystery in a doctor discipline system that puts the emphasis on private practice.
The Federation of State Medical Boards, which represents boards across the country, declined multiple on-camera interview requests and did not answer specific questions about the discipline of addicted doctors. In a statement, the group said, quote, "The primary mission of state medical boards is to protect the public by ensuring physicians are properly licensed, trained, and fit to practice, and that boards have a responsibility to support physician wellness because public safety depends in part on physician health."
Still ahead, cracking down on junk fees, how the government is reining in additional costs impacting your bottom line.
He refunded me the $24 and changed his policy.
Plus, doctors helping terminal patients die.
She woke up early in the morning, and that's when she said that she was ready.
While legal in some states, death with dignity laws are controversial. Why access is still an issue.
The vast majority of those patients, the barriers are essentially insurmountable.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms.
It's called physician-assisted suicide or physician-assisted death.
It's controversial and legal now in these 10 states and Washington, D.C. But one state opened the door for anyone to travel there to seek assistance with dying. Anna Katayama takes us to Oregon, where some are searching for solutions to streamline the process.
She was a fiercely independent person, very religious, very independent, had a bunch of friends. She was living in Northern California.
Adam Rafalovich helped his mom move to Oregon shortly after she was diagnosed with cancer. She moved in with him and his family.
I drove her up. She was in tremendous amounts of pain. She quickly fell into the grips of really advanced cancer. It was lung cancer that had metastasized in her bones and also had metastasized in her soft tissue.
Aware of Oregon's death with dignity law, Louise Rafalovich requested a prescription for aid in dying. Having watched her husband suffer the effects of esophageal cancer, Adam believes she wanted a different path.
The worst part of this for me was seeing someone you love so much suffer.
Dr. Nick Gideons was Louise's doctor. He is also the Oregon doctor who filed the lawsuit challenging Oregon's residency requirement, and he won. But for those who don't have family in Oregon, like Louise did, accessing medical aid in dying is a challenge.
The vast majority of those patients, the barriers are essentially insurmountable.
According to the Oregon Health Authority, the number of people requesting a prescription to end their life has increased over the years. In 2000, 39 people requested a prescription and 27 actually used it. 10 years later, the number of requests jumped to 97. And then in 2020, the number nearly quadrupled, with 373 requesting a prescription.
Eliminating the residency requirement didn't lead to all prescribing physicians allowing people from out of state to come to their practice.
Dr. Charles Blanky says some physicians still see working with out-of-state patients as risky.
People are still scared about how the law is going to be applied. They're still scared that people will take the medication back home.
But Blanky is moving forward, determined to provide medical aid in dying to those who request it.
I started seeing patients right away. We were fielding probably 5 to 10 phone calls a week from almost every state, at least in the continental U.S.
Out-of-state patients looking for a private place to consume the medication ended up using hotel rooms.
There's one hotel, which I will not name because they would not like it very much, where I had a whole series of people. I think I had 6 people within 1 week. And it got to the point where I was walking up their front steps and they were trying to shoo me away.
In an effort to help his patients, he searched for other beds.
I actually put an ad on Craigslist to see if any owners of Airbnbs would be comfortable. And I actually interviewed several, and of course I was very frank about saying what would happen to the people using their Airbnb. And I actually had a couple people who were very interested in offering me spots.
I think we're slowly developing the systems to help people find physicians who are, as we said, interested in participating.
Legal worries and logistics remain huge roadblocks for out-of-state patients who, unlike Louise Rafalovich, don't have family in Oregon.
She woke up early in the morning, and that's when she said that she was ready.
As the cancer spread and it became increasingly difficult for her to move, Louise Rafalovich chose the day that she wanted to end her life. With her son at her side, she drank her prescription with a glass of water.
Very quickly thereafter, at less than 10 minutes, she was asleep. We were singing Amazing Grace as she drifted off. It was extremely peaceful, and it was loving, and it was a very sad moment, but it was also, it was one of the great moments of my life, because I was able to be there for her in a way that I don't think a lot of folks get the opportunity. Really beautiful about the experience is that there was nothing left unsaid. I got to spend quality time with her every single day.
The doctors interviewed aren't providing prescriptions just because patients request them. There are a number of requirements that patients need to meet, and they often vary by state. But here are the big ones. Patients must be at least 18. They must have a terminal illness with 6 months or fewer to live, and they must be capable of making and communicating their healthcare decisions with their doctor.
Coming up, convenience fees. They're anything but for most Americans and sometimes illegal. How some companies hide fees to pad profits.
Plus, kick flips and kindness.
Set, go!
A skateboarder teaching the next generation how to shred.
Junk fees are essentially just hidden, tacked on costs that have nothing to do with the good or service you're purchasing. It's just a way for these companies to profit.
Transaction fee, purchase fee, convenience fee. You see them on your receipts for bank accounts, credit cards, even rental agreements. According to a Consumer Reports survey, 85% of Americans have encountered an unexpected or hidden fee over the past 2 years. And 96% of them find them annoying. President Joe Biden called junk fees a, quote, basic question of fairness during his 2023 State of the Union address.
From small towns to the White House, here's how you can be your own investigator and fight against these so-called junk fees.
It's still dollars coming out of your pocket that is coming out of your pocket illegally.
Bob Harrigan would say he's just an ordinary guy from Meridian, Connecticut, but he's also become an expert at speaking up when he's charged a fee for using a credit card.
It started with a local garage where I went in for a brake job and it was $600 and change. And then when I picked it up, it was an extra $24 on top of that.
Turns out that fee is illegal in Connecticut.
So I went back to the guy and he didn't know anything about it. So he refunded me the $24 and changed his policy.
We've certainly noticed a large number of instances of it happening.
Mark Glassman is with the Federal Trade Commission, which says Americans spend nearly $65 billion a year on junk fees.
What we're out there doing is trying to make sure that businesses, are conducting themselves in a non-deceptive way and in a way that accurately portrays the nature of the deals.
Now the federal government wants to crack down. Lawmakers introduced the Junk Fee Prevention Act in April of 2023. The bill would require the full prices of services to be provided up front. It would also eliminate the fee you pay to sit next to your child on an airplane, a fee the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says is one example of how businesses will get creative to pad profits.
This has to be all hands on deck and all levels of government cracking down on consumer abuses. So we're inviting and working with states on joint actions, on state actions going solo, and ways to strengthen our laws and rules across the board.
There is a lot of progress already underway. A lot of the bigger banks have voluntarily scrapped overdraft fees, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is proposing a cap of $8 on credit card late fees. In the meantime, here's what you can do to try to avoid junk fees.
If you're going to make like a big ticket purchase, to know, a lot of people go to their either credit union or bank and get a loan with them first before going to a dealership. That's one way. So you already know the amount, you've negotiated that amount, and that's what you're telling the dealership. I've already got financing, I'm already paying for it. Some of those hidden fees and costs come when they try to do their financing for you. And for other products and services is really, if you can, shop around and compare, see what they're charging you.
Still ahead on Investigate TV Plus, a board and 4 wheels, giving kids confidence.
Give them the confidence, and then after they get the confidence, then it's time for them to roll on their own.
I'm Viv Williams with a medical mythbuster moment. The myth: if your baby doesn't sleep well through the night, they'll have bad sleep habits as adolescents and adults. That's not true.
When babies are born, they do not know what planet they're on. They don't know if this is a 24-hour planet or a 36-hour planet or an 18-hour planet.
University of Minnesota sleep medicine specialist Dr. Michael Howell says you have to help babies set their circadian rhythms. How? By exposing them to light in the morning, darkness in the evening, and practicing consistent bedtime routines. Experts say this should help them develop good sleep habits lasting into adulthood. With this medical mythbuster, I'm Viv Williams.
Skateboarding is seeing a renaissance. Like a lot of outdoor hobbies, stay-at-home orders during the pandemic helped fuel its popularity. According to data research firm Statista, more than 2 million people picked up a skateboard for the first time in 2020, and it showed in the sales. According to Action Watch, a data provider for the skate and surf industries, skateboard equipment sales more than doubled between February and June of 2020. And in 2021, it debuted as an Olympic sport. Today, almost 9 million Americans skate. In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a skateboarder is hoping to pass on his love of the sport. He's teaching kids how to shred and how to be kind at the same time.
Reporter Patrick Lloyd has our story.
We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. All right?
Every day, skateboarders of all ages love spending time at the Matt Hughes Skate Park in Myrtle Beach. But Mondays are for the kids.
Look how cute they are.
The parents watch.
Do you see Bubba?
While the kids shred.
Set, go!
With guidance from Aaron Frobase, who's been teaching this skateboarding class for kids for 13 years.
We created a community through doing the classes.
Aaron uses plenty of encouragement.
Killing it today. I'm so proud of you. Both you girls are.
And a little bit of tough love.
Winner, winner, but I saw you push in the beginning, so.
I didn't. I think
Aaron admits it can be hectic trying to lead so many young kids.
All right, you ready?
But he loves seeing the progress they make.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1! You know, it is controlled chaos. You pay attention, you give the kids the effort where they need it. Gonna look like this, ready, set, go! I can't give all the kids the effort that I wanna give them, but really skateboarding is not about holding someone's hand and teaching them. I mean, you give them the confidence, and then after they get the confidence, then it's time for them to roll on their own. What's up, Ben?
Over the course of his 13 years teaching the class, Aaron says he's watched his students of the sport grow into skateboarding experts.
I have a couple kids that I taught that still skate. They're in their mid-20s that actually they were in my classes before, and just blows my mind. And they're 10 times better than I'll ever be. And I was like, wow, you started skating with me.
But even more valuable than the skateboarding family tree Aaron has developed
So it's all about respect.
are the manners he hopes to teach every kid in the class.
If a kid doesn't learn how to skateboard ever, but learns how to be respectful, hey, I'll take that as a lesson for the day.
But before the kids go home,
well, you guys rocked it today. I'm very, very proud of you.
Aaron leaves them with a parting gift.
I got a bag of stickers. Yeah. Remember, if you don't get the sticker you like, okay, just whine about it and you'll get a better one. Wait, no, that's not how it works.
How do you
get what you get, you don't pitch a fit, and if you don't like the sticker I give you, guess what? Trade it with somebody else, all right? It's called gratitude.
Those kids were having so much fun and learning so much more than just how to skateboard.
And that's like the beauty, like sports a lot of time can, kids can have fun doing it, but they can learn life lessons that can help them even after they stop playing sports or maybe even able to skateboard. Very
and that's
nice.
what they're getting, yeah.
They are. All right, that's it for us here on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, a case of over-medication that nearly killed a grandmother.
God is the only one that decides when it's our time.
Her own daughter sent to prison, but her family says justice has not been completely served.